Hello everyone, welcome to a all-new Newsflash number 309. We start with Trump's trade wars. They're getting costly. Not good, folks. Larry Kudlow even coming out and saying that both sides are going to pay for this trade war with China. Rudy Guiliani cancels his Ukraine trip. Shout out to Elizabeth Warren getting the Wall Street 2008 crash 4 years, predicting it 4 years before it happened. Tickling Joe Biden's false union shtick. Donors to the We Built the Wall GoFundMe page, remember that? They want to know where their money's going. We're not going to the wall, guys. Sorry about that. Republican senators go to war with each other over Donald Trump. We give a shout out to Chobani talking about an issue in our schools today. And finally, I know we're a little bit late, but we'll get to that Ben Shapiro crazy interview that took place on BBC this past week. All right, so we started off with Larry Kudlow, where President Trump's chief economic advisor said on Sunday that American consumers would bear a burden from the escalating trade war with China, contradicting Trump's claim that his tariffs were a multi-billion-dollar one-way payment to China by the United States Treasury. The advisor, Larry Kudlow, made his comments 2 days after negotiations for a trade deal with China broke off, and Trump followed through on a threat to raise tariffs on $200 billion worth of more Chinese exports. So, in fact, both sides will pay. Both sides will pay in these things, he said in a recent interview to Fox News. And yeah, this is not good at all for Donald Trump's administration here. He's already had to do a lot of this stuff. It's already come at a high cost of especially many industrial manufacturing sectors, such as farming industry, steel industry, stuff like that. It's hurt. It really has. All sorts of agricultural industry and kind of factory-based industries, they have not been. They've been feeling the pain of this trade war. And they, obviously, the thing is, and American people will show this, the polls will show this, that they want to see something come out of this. They've been through a lot here, especially the middle class and workers of this country, to be put through this. And yes, granted, China was a problem, but right now, just like with North Korea, we look further away from any sort of real goal than we ever have seen. The two big victories of President Trump's first term were supposed to be trade and North Korea, and right now those are looking both very badly. North Korea just launched a second missile recently, and this trade war really shows no signs of slowing down. If he can get victories on one or either of these things, great. I give him credit. That's something he did well, but it just doesn't seem like that he's going to be able to do that, because it's first of all, we have a big problem with China. They're not going to bet on this, and North Korea, that'll be tough to get them back once you've already kind of kicked them out. We don't know how that ended. So, yeah, not that North Korea really has anything to do with trade. It doesn't. I guess sometimes China and North Korea are somewhat tied. But still, the main point is, improving relations with China over this trade issue, it was a legitimate problem. He was right for going after it. It's something that's been kind of no one really has tried to address, just for the fear it's going to be too big of a deal. But, Trump, he ran on addressing it. He said this is one of the worst trade deals in the history of deals, maybe ever, whatever he said. And he's going to have to face the fact that if he doesn't get it done, there's going to be real consequences for him. And, yeah, he's just going to have to face that. So, Kudlow's acknowledgement, though, was a pretty big deal. It was merely a recognition of Economics 101. But it flew in the face of the president's favorite argument about trade wars, that they're easy to win, and the pain falls disproportionately on America's trading partners, which he accuses of having exploited the United States for years through predatory trade practices. After months of pressuring urgently for a deal with China, Trump abruptly shifted course in the past week, some by what he views as his attempt to renege on key parts of a draft agreement. The president declared he was ready to prolong the standoff with Beijing because the cost of the trade war was much higher for the Chinese, with their huge numbers of exports to the United States, than it is for Americans. Because obviously after the fall of Mao and kind of the change up in China, they opened themselves up to the West. And they, back in 1970s, 1980s, and they started exporting everything to the West, everything to America. America really, they were able to make a lot of money off of it, and that deal kind of makes a lot of exports, those deals, multiple deals that were put in place, like the Nike shoes, all that kind of stuff, all those made-in-China products, they're going to come at a pretty tough tariff for China if they wanted to come in. So that's why, I guess he kind of has a point here, but he's going to probably have to find a way to wind it down. It's been going on for quite a long time. He's going to have to find a way to wind it down. It's going to be very tough. But if he does, I think he deserves a lot of credit for it, because this has been something that really has been pissing a lot of people off for a long time. It's kind of been a thorn in the side. It's not been a very big issue, but still, it's been an issue. And the thing is, the American people, as I said before, they've gone through a lot of pain, a lot of annoyance to suffer through this. And the fact that they may not be able to get out of it here or get anything out of it. Just all that pain and suffering was for naught. Like, that's not going to look good for Trump. It's just that simple. Talks with China will continue in a very congenial manner, Trump said Friday on Twitter. There's no need to rush, as tariffs are now being paid to the United States by China on 25% of $250 billion of 25% tariffs on $250 billion worth of goods and products. These massive payments go directly to the Treasury of the U.S. He went even further in a subsequent tweet, claiming the tariffs would bring in far more wealth to our country than even a phenomenal deal of any traditional kind, a statement that seemed to undercut his administration's contention that China has robbed American companies of billions of dollars through coercive practices like the forced transfer of technology and unfair licensing agreements with intellectual property and all that stuff. So there is no doubt, obviously, that China is being buffeted by the tariffs, which could soon apply to virtually everything it exports in the United States. But Kudlow said economic growth in China would slow down as exports diminish. He argued that the effect on American economy would be modest, as only a 0.2% reduction in growth, even if Trump extended tariffs across the board, but as he has threatened to do. You got to do what you got to do, Kudlow said. In my judgment, the economic consequences are so small, but the possible improvement in trade, exports, and open market, this is for the United States. This is a worthwhile doing. So, like, yeah, they're making that gamble. It's going to be a tough gamble to do, but it could mean a lot for the future of the presidency. But they're going to have to really figure out. That's the question: is it worth the political cost? That if you fail, like it's a high risk, high reward scenario. Is really what it is. Like, if you fail, do you really risk getting having a lot of working class Americans suffer through a lot of pain, small businesses suffer, stuff like that. And if you fail, if you succeed, you'll feel the bump of like a lot of improvement, a lot of praise, and a fixture of what was a pretty big, not a huge problem, but a pretty darn annoying problem, like thorn in the side of American economy for a long time. So if he fixes that, it's gonna be quite good. It's gonna be something positive, something to cheer about, folks. It is. You know what? It is. Yeah. So Rudy Giuliani, he is the president's lawyer. He said he's canceled a trip to Ukraine to seek help from the incoming administration there to target President Donald Trump's political opponents, including the family of Democratic candidate Joe Biden and people affiliated with the 2016 campaign of Hillary Clinton. Giuliani planned to travel in Kiev on Sunday, but as the news of the trip made headlines on Friday, the president's personal lawyer had an abrupt change of heart, claiming the meetings he planned with incoming President Volodymyr Zelensky were a setup by Democrats. In reality, the former New York mayor's activities looked a lot like brazen conspiracy of the foreign government to disrupt U.S. election and possibly could have led to even a violation of campaign finance laws. So yeah, like he's actually going out there and saying that he is going to target Democratic opponents. So, like, literally doing it out in the open there, which is pretty incredible. Trump claimed to not know too much about Giuliani's plans, despite making several comments this week about the subject of the trip, an investigation into the business interests of Biden's son, Hunter, and special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, as well as Russian attacks on 2016 elections. Yes, that's apparently what they tried to do. You get a little deeper into this Hunter Biden story that has been nagging the Biden campaign. That they've been doing with this natural gas company. I don't really know too much about it, but yeah, it could be another one of those things that can use a dog from the right-wing media, and Sean Hannity will talk about that. The left will talk about substantive issues, but yeah, it seems to be a largely conspiratorial thing, kind of like the what's it called, the gas company that Clinton was involved in Ukraine, or whatever it was called. I forget. It was like Uranium One. Was it called Uranium One? I'd be very impressed with myself if it was called Uranium One. Yo, it is. That's pretty, Uranium One. That's actually, I got that right. The Uranium One controversy. I nailed that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so that Uranium One controversy, that was a big thing for Hillary, especially even after Trump literally won. They still yelled at Hillary for that. But still, I think this is probably going to go largely just a thorn in his side for the election. It'll be tough for him to really fully put that to rest, because the right wing media has continued to bring that up and up and up and up and up and up and up. But it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that. Probably like, no way. But I mean, if you want to, you know what he said. You know, this makes me just so mad. You know what he said? He was literally told reporters, he was like, $250,000. If you bundle $250,000 from me, and you want to give me a call, no matter who you are, I say, yeah, great, come in. Like, that represents a problem in our politics. Like, he thinks that's a good thing. He thinks he's, like, playing the game, he's doing a great job. Oh, yeah. No, like, you should be speaking out against that if you really seriously want to be considered by the Democratic nominee. I really don't think people know enough about this guy. I really do not think people know enough about this guy. This is my side rant on Biden that I'm trying to save for later here. But anyway, back to Giuliani's plans to do this weird conspiracy trip to Ukraine here. I've not spoken to him at any great length, but I will. I'll speak to him about it before he leaves. In the same interview, Trump said Hunter Biden's links to the Ukrainian energy company owned by an oligarch should be looked into. He said it would be appropriate to discuss the issue with William Barr, the Attorney General. Certainly, it would be an appropriate thing to do, he told Politico, and he said to Sean Hannity that, quote, Barr would want to see this. It sounds like big stuff, very interesting with Ukraine, Trump added. At the center of the issue, which is making rounds on conservative media sites, is the allegation that Vice President, this is what it is here, Joe Biden intervened to help oust a prosecutor who was investigating the company. This is again, when Joe Biden was vice president, he helps oust the prosecutor that was investigating the company with links to Biden's son. According to Politico, there's no evidence of this, or the prosecutor actually was investigating the company in question. So yeah, we don't even know the investigation. So yeah, it was this kind of corrupt company that he was on, supposedly. Now, this again, sketchy prosecutor was investigating, and apparently this is, again, there's no evidence of any of this happening. No evidence of Joe Biden intervening to stop the investigation, and no evidence either of a prosecutor even investigating the company. So we didn't know the prosecutor investigated the company, so we didn't even know if Joe Biden could have ousted him for it. Like, that's the pretty incredible part. So yeah, Trump allies are claiming that Ukrainian officials they're claiming that Ukrainian officials work with the pro-Clinton operatives to damage Trump's campaign, specifically by going after Manafort. Paul Manafort's been sent to prison, of course, with a slew of felonies revealed by the Mueller probe. When Giuliani announced the trip this week, he told the New York Times, "We're not meddling an election, we're meddling an investigation, which we have a right to do." He said, quote, "There's nothing illegal about it. Some could say it's improper. This isn't foreign policy. I'm asking him to do an investigation that they're already doing, and other people are telling them to stop. And I'm going to give them reasons why they shouldn't stop, because that information will be very, very helpful to my client, and may turn out to be very, very helpful to my government." So yeah, interesting stuff. That's what he's really going to try to do. Like New York Times sums it up. Rudy Guiliani is pressuring Ukraine to pursue investigations he hopes undercut the Mueller inquiry and Joe Biden. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here with is Ukraine the new incoming president? Probably pretty easy to influence. Like, is he going to come in? Is he going to actually try and do this? Is he going to come in and try and say, you know what? I mean, maybe we might want to get into this a little bit. But who knows? Honestly, it's very interesting. So, yeah, how will they respond to the pressure? Well, we know how Democrats, jeez. We know the Democrats responded to this. First, Don Jr.'s "I love it," and now this. Despicable, unpatriotic, and a blatant violation of campaign finance laws. Failing to hold the president accountable for the facts uncovered by Mueller report will result in more of this. My Republican colleagues need to wake up. Good luck with that, Richard. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., responded by calling Blumenthal Denang Dick. Saying, quote, "Hey, Denang Dick, you know what's unpatriotic? Stolen valor." Yeah, you tell him. Yeah, I don't know what. I do apologize. I'm not versed in all these right-wing conspiracy theories. I don't know why they say he stole valor. I think in Vietnam or whatever it was. He said he was in a battle there. Yeah, so that's not great. Jerry Nadler, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, told reporters on Friday that we have come to a very sorry state when it's considered okay for an American politician, never mind an attorney for the president, to go and seek foreign intervention in American politics. Giuliani, perhaps sensing that this conspiracy in plain sight might not be a good idea, switched course on Friday night, coming on Fox News. He said he'd become convinced that Zelensky was surrounded by people who are enemies of Trump and people who are clearly corrupt. So this is not going to be a good idea, folks. No.